Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for attending today's very special presentation on Williams syndrome. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our presenter today. We are joined by Gianna Morello, who works at the ARC of New Jersey. Gianna is 28 years old, lives in New Jersey, and was diagnosed with Williams syndrome at the age of 2.5. Gianna is going to talk a lot about herself and her life. So that is where I'm going to leave the introduction, but we are so lucky and so happy to have Gigi with us today.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Thank you so much for coming to my webinar today. I'm really excited to have you all here. My name is Gianna. I am 20 years old and I live in New Jersey. I was diagnosed with Williams syndrome at the age of 2.5. So I graduated from high school in 2016 and went to attend Centenary University where I earned an associate's degree in liberal arts. So that's that picture right over here. And then it says, then I continued my education at Ramapo College of New Jersey, where I received my bachelor's degree in music performance. And that is that picture right there. Through Williams syndrome, I have met incredible people whose support connections have created opportunities that have shaped my journey. I've had the opportunity to speak at Advertising Week in New York multiple times as an advocate for Creative Spirit. Creative Spirit is an organization dedicated to creating employment opportunities for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. One unforgettable moment was meeting Sandra Swift-Perino. There's a picture right over here of me and Sandra. She was here when President Bush was at a signing. He was signing the ADA, and she was right there. That's that lady right there. So I just talked about Sandra Swift-Perino. She was incredible. I really loved meeting her. I got to meet her at a Creative Spirit event. As I said, she contributed to the creation of the ADA, which was really cool, and stood alongside President Bush as he was signing it. So I had the opportunity to travel to Albany, New York for the proclamation declaring May as Williams Syndrome Awareness Month. So now it is Williams Syndrome Awareness Month, as you all can tell, because we're in the month of May. So here is me with the councilman. His name is Sam. And yeah, I got to be there for that, and it was a really beautiful and cool experience. So music is a central part of my life. I'm a drummer and a singer, and I performed at Williams Syndrome and Creative Spirit galas. I had the opportunity to play the drums during a performance with Scarlett Burke, and also the band Hotel Fiction. I sang with OAR and a recording artist, Justin Edwards. And so it was really, really cool. I really loved having those opportunities, and I'm really grateful that I had a chance to do that. So I feel like representation for people with disabilities matters everywhere. So let's say you're a film director or a TV director or producer, or someone who hires actors for a show or a film. It matters everywhere. So if you have an actor without a disability who plays someone with a disability, it clearly sends a message that we're not able. And growing up, I've always wanted to be in the entertainment industry, but I never really had anyone to look up to, because there was a couple TV shows way back in the day where they hired someone who didn't have Williams syndrome, but the role of the person that was supposed to have Williams syndrome was played by a typical person. And that really made me very frustrated and really upset. So that was really hard on me. So here's me. I got to be on set of a movie last summer in LA. It was for a short film. It was called I Got Next. So there's me. There's a girl named Bailey Bass. You might have seen her before. She is very well known for her role in the Avatar movies. She's really, really cool. And this is my friend Emmy. She has Williams syndrome, and she was one of the leads in the show, in the movie. And that's Kiki. She also helped out with the movie. So it was just a really cool experience to meet everyone on the team, meet all the actors, got to interact with everyone, got pictures, hung out. It's a great time. So I am a member of the Board of Trustees. So I serve as a member of the Board of Trustees for the Williams Syndrome Association, where I am proud to contribute my perspective as a person with Williams syndrome and support the organization's mission. The WSA supports all families affected by Williams syndrome, along supporting and fundraising for much needed research. So there's me in my blue shirt with my black jacket kind of thing going on. And this is everyone on the board. Yeah, these are wonderful people. I love working with them. I love the board. I love what they contribute to the Williams syndrome world. I'm just so lucky and grateful to be a part of it. So this is going to be, I'm going to be speaking now a lot about like the genetics of Williams syndrome and the health issues and all of those kinds of things. So the genetic basis of Williams syndrome. So we're missing genes from chromosome number 7, approximately 26 to 28 genes. So yeah, you can see this picture and there's a really good image of it. The ELN is the gene for elastin, a protein that provides elasticity to organs and tissues. We do not have that. That is our problem. We do not have that, and that's why sometimes we might have a hard time walking, or we might need a wheelchair, things like that. So LIMK1 has been argued to be responsible for aspects of visual spatial issues. So I've had visual spatial issues growing up, and so that's also part of Williams syndrome. DNA testing to diagnose. So there are 2 DNA tests that can be determined if a person has Williams syndrome: the FISH test and the microarray test. These tests are looking to see if one of the 7 chromosomes is missing a patch of about 26 to 28 genes. So over here, I'm going to show you the microarray test. The microarray test is a broader way to figure out if you have Williams syndrome or not. It can detect you have Williams syndrome, but it's way broader. The FISH test, on the other hand, will show you that you have Williams syndrome by the deletion of the elastin gene, right? So over here, we have the elastin gene and the control probe. We know with the control probe and the elastin gene, that is a sign you don't have Williams syndrome. But the one over here, the positive Williams syndrome FISH test, this one does not show the elastin gene. So that is the one that shows that we have Williams syndrome, and yeah, that's the most well-known way to find out if we have Williams syndrome or not, but both tests work. So characteristics of a person with Williams syndrome. There are many characteristics of Williams syndrome. Some people have learning differences, they have very friendly personalities, and they have affinity for music. We have a lot of medical complexities, so there are many medical issues within the Williams syndrome community. We have heart defects, gastrointestinal issues, anesthesia problems, and sudden death. So this is the facial features of Williams syndrome. If you meet someone with Williams syndrome, you'll see the large ears, the full puffy cheeks, the small jaw, small teeth, a wide mouth, and an upturned nose. Those are the most common ones that you could tell right away if you know someone and you could tell that they have Williams syndrome. So we have heart problems. Cardiovascular abnormalities are common in individuals with Williams syndrome, affecting about 75% of those diagnosed. These conditions can vary greatly in both presentation and severity, ranging from mild heart murmurs to more complex structural defects that may require repeated intervention, including open heart surgery. The most common cardiovascular findings include narrowing of the aorta, which is aortic stenosis, narrowing of the pulmonary arteries, which is pulmonary stenosis, and various abnormalities affecting the heart valves. These issues impact the blood vessels and cardiac structure. So open heart surgery. So many of my friends with Williams syndrome have undergone open heart surgery by the age of 5. I also met a mom through Williams syndrome whose daughter Emma has already experienced 3 open heart surgeries by the time she was 4. She was later told that Emma would need another surgery, but that risks were extremely high and she might not survive. Her doctors recommended waiting as long as possible to allow her body to grow stronger before attempting another procedure. For now, she is still waiting, and I continue to keep her and her family in my thoughts and prayers. So there's me and Emma. That picture was taken at an event my mom had. So my mom had a holiday party, excuse me, and her family was there. And it was just one of the best days of my life meeting Emma. You know, she's been through so much, but she's a fighter, and I'm really lucky to know her and her mom and her family. We have gastrointestinal issues. So most individuals with Williams syndrome experience gastrointestinal issues at some point with abnormal bowel patterns, particularly constipation, and associated complications such as rectal prolapse and hemorrhoids being especially common. Episodes of abdominal pain are also frequently repeated and reported. Research indicates that GI symptoms can represent a significant clinical concern in this population. Commonly observed conditions include gastroesophageal reflux, abdominal pain, constipation, diarrhea, irritable bowel syndrome, and various forms of GI dysmotility. Less common but clinically important issues include early onset diverticulitis, celiac disease, and gluten intolerance. So anesthesia. Individuals with Williams syndrome are known to have an increased risk of anesthesia-related complications, and significant adverse events have been documented when anesthesia is not managed with appropriate vigilance. Clinicians are therefore advised to conduct a thorough review of the relevant medical literature before proceeding with any anesthetic intervention in a child with Williams syndrome. A comprehensive pre-anesthetic evaluation is essential, and maintaining adequate hydration until 2 hours prior to the procedure is very recommended. One of my other friends passed away. Her name was Alexi. She was only 5 years old. She was supposed to get hydrated before going under anesthesia, and that didn't happen, and she passed away. So it's very important to be hydrated 2 hours before. Very important part I really want to talk about right now is so I can't go to any doctors here in New Jersey for surgeries or anything like that. There were times where I've signed up for different surgeries and they canceled me 3 days before because they said like, oh, we know your disability, we know your disease. First of all, it's not a disease. And second of all, they had no idea what they were talking about. And my mom didn't want to have someone who just came out of, medical school being my anesthesiologist the day of surgery. And so for that reason, I've been canceled many times at Overlook Hospital and Morristown Hospital. And now I go to New York Presbyterian, which is a really great hospital. And I'm really lucky to go there because all my doctors and surgeons and anesthesiologists really, really care about me and really take the time to actually learn and understand what Williams syndrome is. And so here's me. I had heart surgery 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I don't remember when. And this is my anesthesiologist, Dr. Klapsik, Dr. Anthony Klapsik. He's wonderful. And yeah, I love him. He's an angel. So yeah. Sudden death. So there have been numerous instances of individuals with Williams syndrome passing away unexpectedly. I have personally lost several friends in this way, which has been deeply distressing. In many cases, no defective cause is identified. Although these losses are often presumed to be cardiac related, many of the individuals were under regular cardiology care and showed no indications of severe underlying issue. So if we can we please have a moment of silence for all my friends that have passed away? Thank you. I miss you all. I'm reading this, I'm doing this project for you guys too. Just watch over us, please. Thank you. Thinking about all of you. Sorry. Okay. So 2 years ago, I had the privilege of meeting an extraordinary 8-year-old boy named Darren who had Williams syndrome. We were introduced at a Williams syndrome convention in Arizona during a gathering for first-time attendees. As a member of the Board of Trustees, I was assigned to Darren's family as their mentor, and I quickly came to admire his joyful spirit and the warmth of his family. A few months later, the Williams syndrome community received heartbreaking news. Darren had unexpectedly passed away while playing at his home with his cousin. It was one of the most devastating and frightening events I had ever had and heard, and it deeply affected everyone who had been touched by his light. So that's a picture of Darren at the convention 2 years ago when I met him. He was a wonderful, wonderful little dude. I miss him so much every day, and I just think about, all the people that have passed, and it just breaks my heart, So we really need to keep fighting and keep doing more research so that we can find a way. So this is the Williams Syndrome Association and the Anthony G. Philip Hazel Grant. So I want to read a little bit about this and explain this to you. So I've had many additional stories like the one I shared, each underscoring the urgent need for expanded research. Williams syndrome is classified as an orphan disease, which means it receives limited federal support and lacks the level of scientific investment required to address its complex medical challenges. As a result, families and caregivers are often left to shoulder the responsibility of funding and advancing research themselves. One such parent is Camille Fortunato, who founded the AFG Grant Organization with the mission of driving progress in this area. Each year, AFG raises critical funds to support research led by Dr. Levin at the University of Pennsylvania, focused on understanding the causes behind the unexpected deaths occurring within the Williams syndrome community. Their work represents a vital effort to uncover answers, improve outcomes, and ultimately save lives. Yeah, so I am on the Board of Trustees for the Williams Syndrome Association. And within the Williams Syndrome Association, there's a lot of different things that we do. We have convention every 2 years, as I said before. And they're in different places every 2 years. So 2 years ago, it was in Arizona, and this year it'll be in Buffalo, New York. I'm a counselor there, so I take care of kids and everything like that, and I love doing that. We also have camps. We have a music camp, we have a regular camp, and I've been volunteers there too. So I go and I teach people the drums and I teach them music, and it's a really great time. So we have learning differences, as I mentioned before. Educators face unique challenges teaching children with Williams syndrome, but with the knowledge of their learning style, students with Williams syndrome can experience success in the classroom. We have strengths: our sociable nature, our expressive vocabulary, long-term memory for information, short-term and long-term auditory memory, hypercacious, which helps with phonics, but can make the child worry about loud noises. So it's very interesting. So we have a lot of areas for concern that we need to work on. Attention difficulties, often distractible and impulsive, but not necessarily hyperactive. Two, we have visual, spatial, and visual motor integration difficulties. So that makes writing difficult. We have visual memory defects. Yeah, so visual memory, we can't visualize things. We have to like see it on a piece of paper or something like that. So yeah, difficulty with abstract concepts and reasoning. So it makes math concepts difficult to grasp. The perseveration on favorite topics, and difficulty processing nonverbal information. Williams syndrome personality is considered the opposite of autism. If you literally Google what is the opposite of autism, Williams syndrome will show up. Because on the spectrum of Williams syndrome and autism, there's a wide range. People with Williams syndrome love to talk, but they'll walk off with a stranger. Like, it's so scary. Growing up, that happened to me. I didn't know better, and I almost walked off with a stranger. And there's people with autism who like to, socialize and everything like that. But they're more to themselves, and they're more kept to themselves. So people with autism spectrum disorder often experience differences in social communication and sensory processing. This can make social interaction more complex and tiring for them. Some individuals prefer less social contact. In contrast to individuals with autism, individuals with Williams syndrome are highly and overly sociable, empathetic, often showing a strong drive to engage with others, even strangers. So that was my example. There's a major concern within the Williams syndrome community that these children would go with anyone. So stranger danger is taught at a very young age and continues throughout their lives. This highly sociable personality and strong desire for interpersonal connection makes meaningful opportunities for social interaction, especially important to them throughout their lives. At the same time, many individuals with Williams syndrome have difficulty interpreting subtle social cues, which can make it challenging to build and sustain long-term friendships and relationships. As they transition into adulthood and move beyond the structured environments of school and family routines, they may face increasing social isolation. This isolation can, in turn, heighten the risk of anxiety and depression, underscoring the importance of ongoing social support and inclusive community engagement. So growing up, there were times where I grew up with anxiety, so It was very hard for me to like focus and things like that in school. And I had depression also at one point in my life. But yeah, it was a very hard time, but you know, you make friends, and those that stay with you are the ones that are true friends. The ones that leave, they were never real friends in the first place. So, friends of music, here we go, the fun stuff. Music, music, music. So, music is very important to people with Williams syndrome. For my capstone project in college, I did a presentation about Williams syndrome, music, and the brain. The next few slides are from my capstone project. It talks about why music is so important and why music therapy is very helpful to a Williams syndrome child. And I picked this picture for the slide because I thought it was really cool. It had a lot of instruments on it, and it's really colorful. So I really like it, and I hope you guys do too. Okay, here's me singing. I never really showed this video to anyone in a long time. So here's me singing a little bit at this place called RMC. We had a winter concert. So here's me singing. I don't know. There you go. My mom is laughing.
I want you all to clap for the last verse, okay? Get a little jolly in here.
These people do not know how to clap in rhythm.
And then one day, everything changed. You're all I need. Let's go underneath the tree. You're here. Where should be? Snow is falling at the river sing. Just as
As my vocal coach playing the piano music. That was me singing. Oh, and here's me drumming. So I'm a drummer. I've been playing the drums for about 20 or so years now. But yeah, this happened like 10 years ago, maybe. This was from me at camp. I was with all my counselor friends, and we made a band together, and so we played a little bit of rock and roll. Here we go. Sandra and use the damn mouth more, you know. No. So this is Heartbreaker by Pat Benatar, who's one of the great rock legends. He's one of my favorite artists of all time. So, yeah, there's a little clip of me drumming. Okay, so why do musicians create music? Is it the need to express themselves, to bring out emotion in others? Many musicians create and perform music for the simple joy of doing so. If this musical expression can help others, it only makes sense that we use it in a type of therapy. Music is known to affect a person's emotions in many ways. Some people are more affected emotionally than others. If a person has an emotional connection to music, they are more likely to benefit from a musical therapy session. Many people with a disability called Williams syndrome have a greater emotional connection to music. This could be due to the difference in structure of their brain. So is music therapy beneficial for people with Williams syndrome, and does the structure of the brain have anything to do with it? So how the brain interprets music. So these are all the different parts of the brain. We have the auditory cortex, which is where the sound and tones are perceived and analyzed. The nucleus, accumbens, and amygdala, where emotions related to music are processed. We have the hippocampus, which is the part of the brain that helps with memory and experiences, and the cerebellum, which is part of emotional and physical reactions while experiencing music. So it's very different. Like my brain is different from your brain. So there are many MRI research studies about the structure of the brain of people with Williams syndrome. One of the experts in this field is named Dr. Ursula Belugi, who I had the honor of talking to in the past. Dr. Belugi worked at the Salk Institute in LA and is an expert in this field of research. In one of her studies, it says that the Williams syndrome brain is different than a typical brain. One of the ways it is different is due to the size and structure of the amygdala section of the brain, where emotions that are related to music are thought to be processed. According to the article, Neurocorrelates of Auditory Perception in Williams Syndrome, an MRI study, when music was played during the MRI, there was greater activation in the right amygdala for the Williams Syndrome group compared to the control group, pointing to a potential disassociation. Control subjects show greater activation in the temporal lobes, and WS participants who have a known affinity for music have greater activation in the amygdala. Neurocorrelation of auditory perception in Williams syndrome, N. D. Close parentheses, . I created a survey to get more insight on a person with Williams syndrome's emotional response to music. I asked the Williams Syndrome Association to put my survey on all their private member Facebook pages. I limited the people's response to those who specifically said they had music therapy. Since Williams syndrome is so rare, I was happy to get 50 responses on my survey, and I believe that this is a good pool of people that responded. One of the questions I asked was, has your child ever had an unusual reaction to music? And if so, what emotion did they portray? I created a chart that shows all responses that I received, with happiness being the most at 80%, followed by 65% for excitedness, and sadness came in a little lower than 50%. The chart also shows that over 92% of people with Williams syndrome had an emotional connection to music. So the responses I received from the parents about their child's emotional response to music were particularly what I expected, with how many people responded with happiness and excitement. What was interesting is that over half the people's responses were sad. I do not feel that this would be a typical response for so many people to have, since most of the responses were about children under the age of 5. I decided to send out additional questions to the parents that responded with sadness as an emotional response to music in the survey. I asked the parents to describe what happened during the sad emotional response. All the parents' descriptions were similar. One parent described the child's unique response to music as follows. The first time it happened was when my daughter was about 18 months old. When we were at a birthday party, everyone was happy and excited, and we started singing happy birthday. I saw the look on my daughter's face change. Big tears welled up in her eyes, and she began sobbing uncontrollably. I did not understand what was wrong. It happened again at another person's party. When I got home that evening, I started singing happy birthday to her. There were huge tears, and she started sobbing. When I started singing, she looked at me and said, again. So this kind of relates to me because when I was in 2nd grade in school, they played the song from Amelia Earhart. I don't remember what it was called, but it made me cry uncontrollably, and I came home and I told my mom. And so it shows that people with Williams syndrome really feel it deep down in their soul, and it's an important part of their life. So according to my research, people with Williams syndrome have a true emotional connection to music, and children that are as young as 18 months old have been known to have deep emotional response to music. As I mentioned above, the amygdala and hippocampus are parts of the brain known to be related to the processing of music. Through research of brain structures using functional MRIs, the amygdala and hippocampus part of the brain, but then a person with Williams syndrome responds differently to music than a typical person. My research shows that people with Williams syndrome have a stronger response when music is played. After reviewing the results from the survey, I sent out to the parents/caregivers and reviewing the research about the brain of a person with Williams syndrome. Music therapy can be used to help people with Williams syndrome in many different areas of their life. So, as you can tell from this information I shared with you today, not many people know or understand how rare Williams syndrome is and how much we need funds for more research. It is so important because of how complex the medical issues are and because of all these people passing away unexpectedly. I really want to thank you guys for coming to my webinar today. So down on the next slide, I have links to websites you guys should check out for more information if you'd like to donate to the Williams Syndrome Association and the Anthony Filipazzo Grant for Williams Syndrome Research. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. And I also left my information. So here's the information for the Filipazzo Grant and the association, and here's my information. You can follow me all over social media. You can send any questions or any advice or anything that you would want to see me post.
So you have some people saying that they're so happy to see you. You're doing amazing. Oh, amazing singer and drummer. Yes, yes, we know. Oh, and Adam is saying he
Oh,
plays drums
cool.
too.
Very cool. Yeah, the drums are great. I've been playing for a long time and it's really fun. I think it's unique because it's the heartbeat of the band. If you don't have it, if the drummer's not on beat, how can the band stay together, you know? So, very cool, Adam. Nice.
And then you have a question. How easy, difficult was completing college for you?
Um, so I'm not gonna lie, there were times where college was difficult and there were times where I had meltdowns and I really wanted to give up. But I just kept going and I didn't give up. And the social aspect was really hard. I got bullied a lot. I had to be put in like at least 7 or 8 different um, places to stay because I stayed on campus at both places and I got bullied at both colleges. So it was hard to like find a person that didn't bully me there because I was different. So it took a while. And then sadly enough, my friend, she offered me to stay at her place on campus. And then that was only for 2 weeks that I stayed there. And then COVID happened. So I didn't get the chance to stay with her that long. But I'm really proud of myself. I really pushed hard. I really worked hard and anything is possible. So if you have a child with Williams syndrome, and you want to see them go to college and everything like that, just make sure they don't give up, make sure they keep pushing, make sure they keep going, and yeah, just even if something makes you want to cry and give up, don't, because there's so much out there for you. So
So,
yeah.
Gigi, what
Yes.
what are some things that helped you through those difficult times? What did you lean on? What supports did you have?
So for Centenary College, I had a lot of I had like like I went for essays and stuff like that. I had extra help in those. I would go to my teachers after school and everything like that. Um, but I had my family and friends to my family at home to lean on. My parents would come pick me up every weekend from campus, and I would go home and study and work at home because that's where I only really truly had people that like I was close with. So I got to see my family. So that was really nice. Yeah, that answer.
Yeah, you should
Oh,
you should be very proud. You've
I am very
accomplished so
proud.
much.
I am very proud. So don't give up, kids. Never give up. Keep pushing.
So Gigi put her information up on the screen if you would like to follow along. Do you want to talk a little bit about your plans for your Instagram?
Yeah, so I just decided a couple weeks ago that I wanted to start a page for Williams syndrome. So I'm going to be posting a lot on Gigi's Journey 20 at Gigi's Journey 26, a lot about Williams syndrome, and I'm so excited for all of you guys to follow along. If you have Instagram, follow me. I haven't posted anything yet, but I'm going to in the next couple days and get it rocking and rolling. So yeah. It's going to be a really cool experience for you all. You're going to learn a lot of things that you might not know about. So, yeah.
I know Gigi has taught me a lot of things about Williams syndrome that I didn't know, and it's been such an honor to work with you, Gigi. If anybody thinks of any questions for Gigi afterwards, feel free to email Gianna directly, or you can email Frankie, Bianca, or myself. We can put our email in the chat as well, which is njsap@arcnj.org. Oh,
How is it working at the ARC? I love it. Um, because again, it helps people with disabilities. It's for people with disabilities. And so having a person like me, I feel like gives a different perspective to all my other coworkers that don't have Williams syndrome, a perspective on what it feels like to have a disability and work in an environment with typical people. So it's been an honor. I've been here for about 3.5, 4 years now. So it's really great. I love it here. And Erin's wonderful. All my coworkers were really wonderful. So I love it.
excellent. Yeah, we love having you. Gigi kind of works with all of the programs.
Yes.
So it's great. Whenever we need any help, we know that Gigi is here. Right. And again, if you have any other questions, you can feel free to email us or email Gianna. And again, we just want to thank you so much, Gigi, for putting together this presentation, doing this presentation, and
You're welcome.
providing more awareness around Williams syndrome. It needs that. It needs that awareness. And this is just another fantastic way that, you know, you work really hard on getting that awareness out there.
Thank you. And so another thing, guys, I'm gonna post this eventually, like the video that you guys were just watching me speak on. I'm gonna post that, and I'm gonna really want you guys to, if you can, please share it with your friends and family. We want to get it out there as much as possible. So keep sharing it. Keep sharing your experience on what it felt like to hear someone with Williams syndrome talk about Williams syndrome, because again, it's very rare. And we really need more research because a lot of my friends keep dying on me, and I don't want that anymore. And we have a lot of health issues. So please, please, please send it to as many people as you can. Yeah, and spread the love.
This webinar and the slides will be available on our website. We will also post it when it is ready on our social media. So if you follow us on any of our social media, you will be able to find the link to share it there, but Gigi will also be sharing it on her social media.
Yes, I will.
So excellent. Again, thank you all so much for attending. Thank you for being a part of this special presentation, and we hope you have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday.